Education Minister Peter Sejan says strategies for tackling the hindrances to higher quality education are being discussed. He was at the time addressing the official opening of the $3.8 million state-of-the-art primary school in Salabia today. The Education Minister says the government remains committed in ensuring that the needs of every child are met in order to receive a proper education.
We know that by empowering households through education, families can climb out of poverty on their own. That is why I will continue to discuss with technicians within the ministry strategies for tackling the hindrances to higher quality in education. That is why we celebrate the construction of this state-of-the-art education facility, because it leads to enhanced teaching and learning and to higher quality. Yet, we know that educating our students is much more than placing them in modern buildings. No child will learn effectively if his or her basic needs are not met. If we are to guarantee that every child maximizes opportunities for formal education, the education system must come to know intimately the capabilities, limitations, and contextual background of every child. For this reason, ladies and gentlemen, we have successfully ensured that our students' social and nutritional needs are met in order to ensure that they are fully able to focus on their learning. By this, I speak of our support systems and services such as the school transfer grants, student transportation services, school feeding programs, the textbook scheme, and uniform allowance for students.
Education Minister Peter Sejan. The $3.8 million state-of-the-art new primary school was funded by the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Health Minister Julius Timothy says he is concerned about the rising prevalence of tobacco use among girls in Dominica. Dominica is celebrating No Tobacco Day today. He says about 20% of the world's 1 billion smokers are women, and the use of tobacco by women and girls is increasing. Timothy was at the time delivering an address to commemorate today's activities.
In 2004, a survey conducted among 13 to 15-year-old students in Dominica showed that 13% were currently smoking and 31.4% started smoking before age 10. The younger children are when they first start smoking, the more likely they are to become regular tobacco users. This makes it harder for them to stop. People who start smoking or are exposed to tobacco smoke at an early age are also at risk to developing chronic diseases such as cancer and heart disease, which are the leading causes of death today. World No Tobacco Day will give due recognition to the importance of controlling the epidemic of tobacco marketing amongst girls and women.
Timothy says today's campaign will also take into consideration to protect men and boys.
Although the World No Tobacco Day 2010 campaign will focus on tobacco marketing to women, it will also take into consideration the need to protect boys and men from the tobacco companies' tactics. It is important that tobacco control policies recognize and take into account gender norms, differences, and responses to tobacco in order to reduce tobacco use and improve the health of men and women worldwide. What action then should be taken to protect women and girls and ultimately our future generation?
Health Minister Julius Timothy. This year, the World Health Organization has selected the theme Gender and Tobacco with the emphasis on marketing to women. Minister responsible for Community Development, Social Services and Gender Affairs, Gloria Shillingford, says senior citizens in Dominica should not be denied an opportunity to contribute towards national development. Shillingford was speaking at the annual general meeting of the Dominica Council on Aging at the Fort Young Hotel today.
It is important to recognize that many senior citizens can still enjoy the social aspects of life, and so their organizations should encourage them to participate in activities such as backyard gardening, visiting other groups, attending social events such as concerts, becoming involved in church and community groups, and generally participating in community life. This will foster a sense of belonging which is critical to their happiness and well-being. Of course, those who are still active mentally and physically should not be denied the opportunity to continue contributing to national development if they desire to do so. They may wish to serve as mentors, teachers, facilitators, or simply to provide support for those who have succeeded them in leadership positions in their communities or in society on the whole.
Minister responsible for Community Development, Social Services and Gender Affairs, Gloria Shillingford, meantime featured speaker at the annual general meeting of the Dominica Council on Aging, Dr. Gerald Grell, says about a third of the elderly are faced with the issue of emotional and psychological abuse. He says abuse of the elderly at the workplace is a growing concern.
But there's a major issue which is of concern, I think, to most managers and worldwide, and this is the whole question of abuse of the elderly. There's psychological / emotional abuse. As you can see, about a third of the elderly have this as a major problem because the family and so haven't really been prepared, and people are so busy these days they don't have time to spend with their elderly.
Featured speaker at the annual general meeting of the Dominica Council on Aging, Dr. Gerald Grell. In other news, parliamentary representative for the Petite-Soufrière constituency, Johnson Drago, says work is being continued on the Petite-Soufrière to Rosalie Link Road. Unconfirmed reports recently stated that a project was at a standstill due to a huge rock in the area. However, Drago says preparations for the blasting of the wash mark is ongoing.
Government remains totally committed to the completion of the Rosalie Road and every other project government is currently implementing in the Kairifm constituency. A lot of work has been done on the Rosalie Road as we speak. We are now into the washmark area. We are now preparing for the blasting of a washmark. The Venezuelans are committed to providing all the funds for the completion of the road, and as such the road will be completed. I want to assure the people of Petite-Soufrière and the Kairifm constituency on a whole that rest assured that road will be completed. I remember quite vividly during the construction of the Saint-Sauveur primary schools, there were times when there will be a few difficulties with the school, and this sentiment was also shared by the doubting Thomases that the school would not have been completed. But if you go to Saint-Sauveur today, Saint-Sauveur can boast of having the best primary school on the island. So I can assure you, this government is fully committed to improving the lives of the people of my constituency, and the government has demonstrated that in so many ways.
Parliamentary representative for the Petite-Soufrière constituency, Johnson Drago. Activities marking Local Government Month in the communities of Paybush and Dodan will come to a close with an ecumenical Thanksgiving service organized by the Paybush Dodan Village Council from 7 p.m. at the Resource Center this evening. Member of the Village Council, Angelica Pierre-Louis, says the program involves all faith-based churches and ministries and begins with praise and worship songs by the Paybush Baptist Church. She says it will also include scripture reading from the Seeds of Life Ministry and homily by Father Conan Shillingford of the Catholic Church.